Well, the college football playoffs are right over the hill, right over the hill. Playoffs? You want to talk about playoffs? I think we should
Playoff?
talk about playoffs. And one thing we should talk about is why isn't anyone talking about Oklahoma ahead of the college football playoffs? I feel like we've heard about every other team heading into this first week that's going to happen next week after the Army-Navy game, after a couple bowl games begin. The first week of the college football playoffs. Everyone's talking about Alabama. Should they have made it or not? Everybody's talking about Miami. Should they have made it or not? Everybody's talking about the two G5 teams. Should they have made it or not? Nobody's talking about Oklahoma. I have not seen one article written about Oklahoma for the college football playoffs. And this is a team that is going to host Alabama in round one. This is a team that already beat Alabama in the regular season. Why are we not talking about Brent Venables? Why are we not talking about John Mateer? Why are we not talking about the Oklahoma Sooners?
I mean, when you look at their schedule, at 10-2 losses to Texas, pretty bad loss, actually, 23-6 final score, and a loss to Ole Miss, 34-26. Other than that, they don't really have a ton of controversy here. They beat a number 15 Michigan, 24-13. They beat a 4 Alabama. They beat a ranked Missouri, which whether or not they're ranked or not at 22, Auburn was ranked, whatever you want to get into there. But those are 2 more ranked wins for this team. Why is nobody talking about them? Just because in comparison, they don't have as much controversy right now. Do I love that? This should be one of the most controversial teams. We shouldn't have to worry about all this other crap going on, but we do. All right. And that's the reason nobody's talking about them. Whether or not I think they have a shot at beating Alabama, absolutely I do. I think that they're going into this as a dark horse, if you will, because nobody's really talking about them. They can focus on the inside. They can worry about this game. You said they host, right? If you want to pull up the bracket, that'd be great.
Yeah,
so I
in
can see
Norman.
who they're going into. And Norman's going to help
Norman
as well. Yeah, so then they'll go straight into Indy because that's a true bracket, isn't it? That's not a reseeding.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so then they'll face Indy, and I think don't sleep on OU, right? That's where I'm at right now with this team. I'm not saying that they're going to go out, dominate Alabama, that they're going to, squeak by Indiana. I'm not saying that. I think Oklahoma's been good, and they've won some games like the Michigan game, really opened a lot of people's eyes to what this team could be. But I really think the reason no one's talking about them is just because there are more important things to talk about. I don't think it's anything against this team, which is, gives them an opportunity to focus. But at the same time, it's just, I don't know. It's a byproduct of this system being so bad, I guess.
Yeah, the Ole Miss game, that was a tough game for Oklahoma. Obviously, that was one that really kind of showed some weaknesses for them. The Texas game, though, if you remember, that was John Mateer coming back from injury, and he probably shouldn't have returned back. But the fact that it was a Red River rivalry, the fact that they wanted him to play in that one, of course, that's why that one got pretty bad. And he honestly, if you would have had not John Mateer in that game, and you had your backup, it might have been a little different. And not saying anything against John Mateer. He just wasn't 100% healthy. He threw 3 interceptions in that game. He was not ready to come back. And that's why they lost that game 23-6. I know that I don't hold that one against them too much. A loss is still a loss, don't get me wrong. But when I look at their resumes, I remember that, saying, well, that game, it's not really what Oklahoma was. Ole Miss loss, that was a loss. That Bama win, though, was impressive. And the fact that they're going to play that again, we all know it's very hard to beat a team twice, though, and they have to play Alabama again. That's what just happened in the SEC championship. And Alabama beat Georgia in the regular season, and look what happened in the SEC championship. Georgia taking down Alabama with style, insane style. ESPN Analytics, check this out. Matchup predictor, the good old. I love looking at these. Looking at the stats. 50.9% Alabama, 49.1 Oklahoma, right down the middle. This is a game that we should be talking about so much, and no one's even bringing it up other than the side saying, Alabama, do they deserve to be there or not? John Mateer was in the Heisman conversation for a very long time until he got hurt this season. Those 3 interceptions against Texas basically turned him out for good. This Brent Venables defense finally showing up. The conversation about Brent Venables, what he was going to be, as a head coach coming over from Clemson, coming over to Oklahoma, finally starting to show up. I think this might be, and this is the game on Friday night too. This is the standalone game. This opens the college football playoffs. This might be the best game of the first round.
That's what I was going to ask you, was how do you view this game in comparison to the rest of the field? Just looking at what happened last time, obviously a 2-point win, nearly 50-50 this next time. Wow, this next go at it. Ty Simpson had 326 yards passing, went 1 touchdown interception. John Mateer 138, 15 of 23 on the day. Not a lot of rushing in this game for either team. Neither team surpassed even 81 yards of rushing in this game, which was crazy. So maybe expect an air raid. I think this is one of the best games just because these teams match up so well. I think that this could be a really, really close game, could come down to the wire. When I think of like games that no one's really talking about or whatever, I always think back to the season. It would have been 2 years ago when Georgia and Florida State were both snubbed. And everyone thought they got it wrong. Everyone was upset with how it went. But then those first round games was Michigan, Alabama, I want to say, and Washington. Who was it? Washington, because Washington won. Texas, is that right?
Yeah, I think
Both
so.
of those games were incredible. Literally came down to the last play. I remember making a video about it because I was like, look, if the committee got it wrong, the committee got it wrong. But they didn't get it wrong as far as the quality of these games. They nailed these two matchups. This is one of those games that I view like, whether or not you want to be upset about Alabama, you want to be upset about the rest of the field, whatever, this game, we might just be in for an absolute treat. Like, do not miss this game. You're looking at maybe one of the better Oklahoma teams of all time. Alabama limping in, but a really tight matchup they're going to want to avenge from earlier this season. A 50-50 matchup prediction by ESPN. Like, what's not to love right here?
Yeah, we have a full week till we actually give our actual final predictions for the college football playoffs round one. But you got an early thought on this one? Who you leaning towards early, Oklahoma or Alabama?
Man, you're right. It is going to be a little while before these games go on. My initial thought right now is probably Alabama just because of momentum, but momentum kind of goes out the window when it's been that long from your last game, right? You play in the SEC championship game. Does that extra wear and tear hurt you? Like, there's a lot of factors to consider here.
Yeah, Kirby Smart said, hey, if you remember this, talking about Alabama and Georgia playing, like this is technically our 9th conference game. This is
Yeah,
something the SEC is going to have to play every year now. Oklahoma didn't have to play, so Oklahoma has a whole extra week of
extra
time off
rest.
because they didn't play in the SEC championship game.
The
I want to
best thing
lean
you
towards
can do.
Alabama. Go ahead.
No, so I was just gonna say really quick. I want to hear what you say, but the best thing you can do in college football right now is be really, really good, especially early on. Good enough to you're basically guaranteeing your spot, but then you don't play in the championship game because you don't have to play an extra game. You don't lose any ground from your seeding. That's the best spot you can be in. Obviously, Oklahoma found a really, really good neutral ground there. You said you were leaning Alabama?
I think that my mind wants to, but at the same point, I'm like, man, the fact that what we just led with today, we're not talking about Oklahoma. That's a chip on your shoulder. And
Yeah.
although it's tough to beat the same team twice in 1 year, I feel like if anybody's going to do it in Norman, I think the Sooners can get that done.
Okay.
I'm excited. We're
So
gonna do final. We'll do final score predictions next week. But man,
we
I
got we
think
got time.
Oklahoma.
We've got
I'm
other things
gonna.
to talk about.
You're leaning Alabama this weekend. I'm leaning Oklahoma. This is right down the middle, just like ESPN Analytics did it. So it makes a lot of sense.